In the deepest layers of the ocean, where sunlight has never dared to exist, something moves in silence. Not a monster of myth, but something far stranger. A living fossil with skin like faded parchment and a face that seems almost impossible to belong in nature's design. The goblin shark. For more than a century, it was considered one of the most bizarre predators ever discovered in the deep sea. A creature so rarely seen alive that even science struggled to understand how it truly hunts. But now, a new discovery has forced researchers to reconsider everything they thought they knew about its bite. Because what happens inside that narrow, elongated snout is not just unusual. It is something the ocean should not be able to produce at all. Down in the blackness beyond 1,000 meters, pressure is crushing, temperatures hover just above freezing, and food is so scarce that survival depends on absolute efficiency. In this silent world, evolution does not reward speed or strength alone. It rewards precision. And the goblin shark appears to have taken precision to an extreme that borders on the alien. Its most striking feature is its snout, long, flattened, almost blade-like, covered in sensory pores that detect the faintest electrical signals from hidden prey. But this is not its true weapon. The real secret lies beneath the skin. A jaw that does not behave like any typical shark jaw known to science. For decades, scientists believed the goblin shark was a slow, sluggish ambush predator. A creature that drifted through the depths, occasionally snapping at passing fish. Its bite, they assumed, was nothing special, just another variation in the long evolutionary line of sharks. But deep-sea footage and anatomical studies began to suggest something unsettling. Because when the goblin shark feeds, something extraordinary happens in a fraction of a second. The entire structure of its skull seems to shift. And then, like a mechanism hidden inside a trap, the jaw launches forward. Not slightly, not gradually, but explosively. Recent high-speed observations have revealed that the goblin shark's bite is powered by an elastic recoil system unlike anything seen in most modern sharks. Instead of relying purely on muscle strength, it stores mechanical energy in specialized ligaments and connective tissues. The jaw sits retracted under normal conditions, folded tightly beneath the snout like a loaded spring. Then, when prey is detected, it releases. The result is a protrusion of the jaws that can extend outward with astonishing speed, capturing prey in an instant before the target even registers the threat. It is not a bite in the traditional sense. It is a strike. A forward-launching ambush system hidden inside the face of a shark that looks almost slow and harmless. And this contradiction is exactly what makes it so fascinating. But the discovery that shocked researchers even more came from studying the internal mechanics of this strike. Because the goblin shark's jaw does not simply extend, it transforms. During the attack, the entire jaw apparatus rotates outward, changing the geometry of the skull itself. Cartilage flexes in ways previously thought impossible for a vertebrate of its size. It is as if the shark temporarily reconfigures its own anatomy for a single moment of predation. Then just as quickly it resets, returning to its ghost-like, drifting posture in the deep. This rapid transformation raises a disturbing question for marine biologists. How did such a system evolve in isolation, in one of the least understood environments on Earth? To understand this, researchers have begun comparing the goblin shark to its ancient relatives. Fossil evidence suggests that its lineage stretches back more than 125 million years, to a time when oceans were dominated by primitive sharks and marine reptiles. Unlike many modern sharks, the goblin shark did not evolve for open-water pursuit. Instead, it adapted to an environment where encounters with prey are rare, unpredictable, and often fleeting. In such a world, hesitation means starvation. And so evolution favored a different strategy. Not endurance, not pursuit, but instantaneous capture. What makes the goblin shark's bite even more remarkable is how invisible it is in motion. In the deep sea, most predators rely on sudden bursts of speed or overwhelming force. But the goblin shark's strike is almost silent in hydrodynamic terms. Its body remains relatively still while only the jaw mechanism activates. This minimizes water displacement, reducing the chance that prey will detect the attack through pressure changes. It is a form of biological stealth that borders on perfection. A predator that does not chase, does not signal, does not warn. It simply appears. Yet despite these discoveries, scientists are still struggling with one central mystery. How exactly does the goblin shark control such a complex mechanical system in real time? Neural signals in deep-sea sharks are typically slow compared to surface species due to colder temperatures and metabolic constraints. And yet the goblin shark's bite operates with near-instant precision. This suggests that much of the system may be preloaded, mechanically primed rather than actively controlled at the moment of attack. A biological trap, waiting for activation. But the full mechanism remains hidden beneath layers of cartilage and soft tissue that are extremely difficult to study without damaging rare specimens. Even more intriguing is the question of what the goblin shark actually targets in the deep. Stomach content analyses reveal a diet of squid, deep-sea fish, and crustaceans. But the precision of its bite suggests it is not simply reacting randomly. It appears to select prey with careful timing, striking at the exact moment when escape is impossible. Some researchers believe it may even use its elongated snout as a scanning tool, detecting electrical fields before committing to the strike. Others argue that the shark may rely on environmental cues we have yet to understand, subtle shifts in pressure, light, or vibration that remain invisible to human instruments. For now, the goblin shark remains one of the most enigmatic predators ever recorded. A creature that looks like a relic of ancient oceans, yet behaves with mechanical sophistication that feels almost engineered. And as new imaging technologies begin to reveal more of its hidden biology, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. We are only beginning to understand what lies beneath that strange, elongated face. Because the goblin shark is not just surviving in the deep sea. It is perfecting a strategy of predation so fast, so precise, and so alien in its execution that even modern science is still struggling to keep up. And somewhere in the dark ocean depths, it is still hunting, waiting, silent, unseen, and ready to strike in less than the blink of an eye. In the cold silence of the deep ocean, where pressure crushes everything but the most adapted forms of life, the goblin shark continues its slow, drifting existence. But beneath that calm motion lies a mechanism so fast, so precise, that it challenges even modern engineering. To truly understand what makes its bite so strange, scientists had to stop looking at the shark as a whole animal, and instead begin studying it like a machine, a living machine built by evolution. When researchers reconstructed the goblin shark's jaw in controlled lab simulations, they discovered something unsettling. The bite does not behave like a simple closing motion. It behaves like a launched projectile. A biological catapult hidden inside cartilage and connective tissue. High-speed imaging shows that when the strike is triggered, energy stored in elastic ligaments is released in a cascading sequence. First, the lower jaw shoots forward. Then the upper jaw follows, extending outward in perfect coordination. The entire feeding structure briefly detaches from its resting position without breaking, and then returns. It is not destruction. It is controlled transformation. But what makes this even more remarkable is not just the speed. It is the accuracy. In an environment where light is nearly absent, precision targeting seems almost impossible. Yet the goblin shark rarely misses. This suggests that its sensory system is not just advanced. It is specialized for the deep in a way that compensates for total darkness. The long snout, covered in thousands of electroreceptors, acts like a biological radar field. Every muscle twitch in nearby prey generates a faint electrical signature, and the goblin shark can detect it from distances that seem impossible for such a sluggish body. But detection is only the first step. The true mystery lies in timing, because detecting prey in the deep sea is not enough. The strike must occur at the exact moment when escape is physically impossible. Scientists studying deep-sea footage have noticed something strange. The goblin shark does not always attack immediately after detecting prey. Sometimes it follows. Sometimes it shadows. And sometimes it simply waits. This behavior suggests a level of decision-making that is still not fully understood. Is it calculating distance? Is it predicting movement? Or is it waiting for environmental conditions, such as water currents or prey fatigue, to reach a critical threshold? We do not yet know. But what we do know is that the timing of its bite is not random. It is controlled. And that control is what makes it so effective in a world where every mistake means starvation. To understand the origin of this bizarre feeding system, scientists turn to evolution itself. Fossil records of ancient goblin shark relatives show a gradual trend toward elongated snouts and increasingly specialized jaw structures. But none of the fossils fully explain the extreme protrusion mechanism seen today. This suggests that the modern goblin shark is the result of deep-sea evolutionary pressure that is almost invisible in the fossil record. A slow refinement process occurring in one of the least studied ecosystems on Earth, where survival does not favor the fastest swimmer or the strongest jaw, but the most efficient strike. In shallow water sharks, evolution tends to reward pursuit. Speed matters. Endurance matters. But in the deep ocean, everything changes. Prey is sparse. Encounters are rare. Energy conservation becomes critical. And so the goblin shark appears to have evolved a completely different philosophy of hunting. Instead of chasing life, it waits for life to come close enough to end instantly. One of the most disturbing aspects of the goblin shark's bite is how little resistance it seems to encounter. Prey is often swallowed whole or impaled in a fraction of a second. There is no prolonged struggle, no visible fight, just disappearance. This has led scientists to suspect that the force of the bite is not just about speed, but about structural advantage. The jaw's forward projection increases reach beyond the skull, effectively expanding the shark's strike zone. It is as if the animal briefly extends its body forward in time to capture prey before it can react, and then retracts back into stillness. But even with all this data, one question continues to trouble marine biologists. Why does such a complex system exist in a creature that appears so slow and unevolved at first glance? The goblin shark is often called a living fossil, but this label is misleading. It is not unchanged. It is highly specialized. It has simply evolved in a direction that is almost invisible to casual observation. A direction defined by internal mechanics rather than external appearance. Deep-sea expeditions have also revealed something else unexpected. Despite its fearsome bite, the goblin shark is not an aggressive hunter in the traditional sense. It does not patrol territories. It does not engage in constant pursuit. Instead, it drifts through vast regions of the ocean, conserving energy, waiting for rare opportunities. This lifestyle is perfectly aligned with its biomechanics. A high-speed strike system built into a low-energy body. A contradiction that only makes sense in the deep sea. And yet, even now, scientists are finding evidence that the goblin shark's bite may have additional layers of complexity. Some recordings suggest micro-adjustments during the strike, subtle shifts in jaw angle that may help optimize capture depending on prey size and distance. These adjustments happen too fast for human perception and may be controlled by reflex loops embedded in the jaw itself rather than the brain. If true, this would mean the goblin shark's bite is partially decentralized. A system where parts of the attack operate independently, like submechanisms within a larger machine. This idea is both fascinating and unsettling, because it challenges our understanding of vertebrate control systems. Most animals rely on centralized neural commands for precise movements, but the goblin shark may rely on distributed mechanical intelligence, a body that knows how to strike without fully relying on conscious processing. Still, despite all these discoveries, the goblin shark remains largely a mystery. We have seen it bite. We have measured its speed. We have mapped its structure. But we have never observed its full behavior in a natural, undisturbed environment for long periods of time. Every encounter is brief. Every observation incomplete. The deep ocean refuses to reveal its secrets easily. And so the question remains, what else are we missing? What happens in the moments we have never recorded? Does the goblin shark hunt differently depending on depth, temperature, or prey type? Does it learn? Does it adapt within its own lifetime? Or is every individual already perfectly engineered at birth for a single purpose? Silent, efficient predation in the darkness? Perhaps the most haunting realization is this: the goblin shark is not strange because it is primitive. It is strange because it represents a different solution to survival. A solution that evolved in isolation, under pressures so extreme that they produced something entirely unfamiliar to surface life. A predator that does not need to be fast in the conventional sense, because its strike is already faster than reaction. A hunter that does not need to chase, because its prey never gets the chance to escape. And as deep-sea technology continues to improve, scientists hope to finally capture something they have never truly witnessed before. A complete hunt, from detection to decision to strike, in real time. Only then might we finally understand the full truth behind this strange, almost alien mechanism hidden inside the goblin shark's face. Until that moment, it remains one of the ocean's most profound contradictions. A slow-moving shadow, with a bite that moves faster than thought itself. Still drifting through the darkness. Still hunting. And still reminding us how little we truly know about the deepest parts of our planet.